Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Haley. I just had a little girl 2 weeks ago now, and I also have a 2-year-old daughter named Graylin. Our newborn baby is named Gresset. So I just thought I'd come on here and kind of do a sit down, life update, catch up on things that have been going on. I have some clips from the hospital that I didn't get a chance to put into any vlogs, so I'm gonna throw those in here too. We're gonna talk about breastfeeding. We're gonna talk about nighttime routines. We're gonna talk about how my 2-year-old is handling the situation. I'm just gonna kind of just give you a life update and let you know how things are going with us since we introduced our new baby girl into the family. I am currently in my cozy pajama-esque outfit because I am on maternity leave, so I'm just enjoying the time at home where I don't have to be at work and I can just kind of do all of the lazy Christmassy holiday things. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm gonna first insert a little compilation of how our life was in the hospital after we had Gresset. So it's just kind of a when she woke up, how our night went, a little bit of my postpartum body, all of that stuff. So I'm gonna throw that in right now. What is this, 5 hours after labor?
Yeah. Hey, sometimes the necessity is some stretching. Oh.
It is Thursday, December 5th. I just woke up, which honestly I didn't sleep like at all last night. I didn't really get tired till like 4 a.m. I think my adrenaline was just pumping just from the whole day. So anyway, got my breakfast. Colton went to go get coffee. Gresset's sleeping. She probably won't wake up for like another hour or so. She's like, I don't know, amazing. It's weird. Anyway, so last night went really good, aside from the fact that like I just physically didn't sleep. My own choice, not because of her at all. So, up for the day. I'll probably sleep whenever I get home tonight, like when I'm in my bed. Yeah, she had a really good night last night. So, we'll keep you updated throughout the rest of the today. I think I'll do like a first 24 hours or first day with a newborn, something like that. Anyway, I have a friend coming to take pictures at 9. Colton's parents are coming by before they leave. And then, yeah, then we're supposed to be discharged today. So hopefully that happens if everything's good with Gresset. She had 4 dirty diapers yesterday, which is crazy. And she fed really, really well. So that makes me happy. So I'm gonna eat my breakfast because I'm starving. I'm also going to put in how Boozer, our 6-year-old Great Dane, reacted to the new baby. Hey, you ready to meet Boozer?
Come on, Papa! Oh, Papa, who is that? Oh yeah, you gotta get you a new one.
What you think?
What's up, Papa? Oh, Papa. Sit down. Good boy. Hey, Papa. Where have you been? Where have you been for the last day? Oh, Papa. Hey, look. We got a new one. Yeah. We got a new one.
Not her face. Oh, Boozer. Not in her face. Not in her face. What'd you think, Bubs?
What do you think?
Did you get anyone? You don't care. Are you hungry? Yeah. Let's eat. Good boy, Boo-Boos. Good boy.
Go smell her. Look. Go get her. Who is that, Boo? Boo-Boo. Who is that? Who is that?
Oof.
Is this your little baby
Careful,
sister?
Boozer. Shh.
Is this your little baby sister?
So when we brought Graylin home, he was like okay with it at first. He sniffed her and whatever. And then a couple days later, he just completely ignored her. So he didn't want to have anything to do with her for the first, I'd say like year of her being here. He would avoid her, he would walk away from her. We would give him attention separately from her, but he just didn't want to have anything, which he's barking right now because I put him outside. He just didn't want to have anything to do with her whatsoever. This one, he's built a pretty strong relationship with our 2-year-old over the past year because she can interact with him now. She gives him food off the table, so he really enjoys her now. So that relationship is still budding, and he's kind of ignoring the newborn. Now, he is more attentive when Gresset does cry. He used to not care if Graylin cried. Like, he would hear her and he would walk to the other side of the house. When Gresset cries, he walks towards her. So that's at least something a little bit different. He's not like the quintessential cute little Pinterest Great Dane that you've seen where they like let the baby lay on them or, you know, sit next to their crib. That's not him. That's not who he is. But he's done pretty well with her. He's not ever been aggressive towards her. He's never made us feel unsafe with her. We don't leave him alone with her in the room, but we wouldn't do that with any pet at all. But that's kind of how he's doing with the situation. So if you hear him barking in the background, I apologize. He just will sit by the door because he wants to go outside, but as soon as you put him outside, he barks to come back in. So I'm not doing the back and forth, just listen to him bark. Okay, let's talk breastfeeding. So with my 2-year-old Graylin, I suffered with a lot of postpartum anxiety and just hormones going crazy, and breastfeeding just didn't work out. So we tried to breastfeed in the hospital immediately. I didn't have a good support. Like my nurses and stuff were not helping me with what to do, how to hold, positioning, and all of that. They just kind of were like, okay, yeah, you just breastfeed now, go ahead and do it. And so I was trying to do it on my own. I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't have a lot of help in that area. I think just because they didn't really have a lot of experience in it, so didn't have a lot of help in that. We ended up having to supplement with formula while she was in the hospital because she was losing weight. So that, on top of just my new mom anxiety, just the breastfeeding didn't work out. So with Graylin, I exclusively pumped for 8 months. And so I would be hooked up to a pump while either I fed Graylin or my husband fed Graylin, and then wait 3 hours, hook up to a pump. So I would pump every 3 hours for 30 minutes all day long to keep my supply up. And then in between I would have to feed Graylin. So I got hardly any sleep. I was constantly hooked up to a machine and isolated from everybody because nobody wants to sit in front of somebody with a pump hooked up to them and like have a normal conversation. So I was isolated. It just was not ideal. However, it's not something, it's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to provide her with breast milk just for the nutrition aspect of it. I know a fed baby is best, and so that's what I did. I fed my baby how I knew how. We did start supplementing with formula at 8 months because I was just exhausted from pumping and didn't want to do it anymore, and just decided to, once she started like a little baby-led weaning, we just introduced formula as well. So with Graylin, that's what we did. I exclusively pumped for 8 months, and it was hard. Like one of the hardest things I've ever done, one of the worst times of my life, because I was just like, I hated it. I hated pumping. So, Gresset immediately latched on right after birth. Our nurse that we had right after birth was amazing. She sat there, helped me, showed me what I was doing wrong, gave me pointers, tips, tricks. Got to our hospital room, had another nurse give us a lot of pointers, sitting there with us and help us out. Had a lactation specialist come in, sitting there with us for like 30 minutes and help me out. So that, I think, was the turning point where breastfeeding worked with Gresset, where it did not work with Graylin. She started to have trouble with latching a couple days later on one side, and so I went up to the hospital and talked to a lactation consultant, got a little bit more tricks there, tips there. That ended up working, and then I just like worked with it more. So we had, like I said, trouble latching on one side. I, with Graylin, had trouble latching, and like immediately it was just defeated, felt defeated, and gave up. And I understood that with Gresset, you're not going to have a perfect latch every single time, and it's up to you to make that work. You can't just have a bad latch and then just like let it go and continue to feed, because you're going to build that habit. So it was just constantly relatching until we had the good latch, and then she would be good to go. So breastfeeding with Gresset has gone pretty good, I'd say. Way different than Graylin because I'm not pumping, because it's just solely on me. So I'm gonna go pros and cons on breastfeeding now that I have a pretty good experience with it. Now I only have 2 weeks of it, so we're gonna go off that, but pros and cons. Pros, I don't have to pump, like biggest pro ever, because pumping is awful, especially when you have to do it every 3 hours, and it's like, that's all you do. So I don't have to pump. I am able to provide for my child, and it's free. This is like a big thing for us. We don't have the funds to really feed her formula. I mean, we looked at the cost of formula, and it's $250 plus a week, and we just don't have that. We're going to eventually have to pay for 2 children in daycare. My husband and I both work for schools, and we just don't, like, we don't make that much money. So we don't have the funds to feed her formula. Could we change a few things around in our budget and make it work? Yes, but do we need to? No, because I'm capable of either breastfeeding or pumping for her, so I don't want to take things away from our family whenever I'm able to do that. So definite pro, it's free and I don't have to pay for it. Another pro is, I mean, I don't have to worry about bottles. I don't have to worry about like carrying things around. If we're out in public, I'm there. So there's that. Spit up does not smell. Breast milk spit up does not smell. Formula spit up stinks and it stains, and breast milk spit up does not stain or smell, in my experience at least. So that's a pro. Going on to the cons, I am solely the only one that can feed her, which is kind of a pro for me, because I like that I am the only one that can provide for her, and it makes me feel good as a mom. However, it's exhausting. In the middle of the night, I'm the only one that can get up with her. My husband could get up and sit with me and burp her afterwards, but he has to work. So am I going to make him get up with me and sit with me? No, and there's nothing he can do. He can't feed her at this point, so it's just me. So it's completely up to me at all times. I am the only one that can provide food for her, which is exhausting. I'm hoping in the next couple weeks we can introduce a bottle, and every now and then have somebody else be able to feed her, my husband be able to get up. Whenever I go to work, especially when I go back to work, he's going to have to help me some. So him getting up in the middle of the night is going to be something that we have to do. So implementing a bottle later on in her life in a couple weeks or so is going to be something that we need to do. But for right now, I am solely the only one that can take care of her, and that is exhausting. They don't tell you that. It's not something that people talk about, that like, oh, breastfeeding is so great and it provides so much nutrition and you have this great bond with your baby. Yes, to all of those things, but also it's mentally and physically exhausting for you. Another con, it hurts. If you don't get that perfect latch, it hurts. And then even if you do have a perfect latch, your body is not used to doing this all the time, so it hurts. Like, you are in pain. Not only are you in pain from the actual breastfeeding, but you're also in pain from engorgement, or if your baby sleeps a little bit longer and you're full, like you're just constantly not comfortable. You're also constantly leaking everywhere, so there's that. It's just like, it's not the most glamorous thing in the world. Another con, I said it was a pro, but also like having to feed in public. A lot of people don't enjoy it, and yeah, you know, I'm not the type of person that's just going to breastfeed in public just at any point. I know some people can do that, and it's just not me. Like, I'm just not going to be that person. So I'm gonna go sit in the car and I'm gonna do it. So that kind of hinders it. Hinders like my ability to do things out in public. So I have to think about where I'm going. I can go to Target at any point because Target has a nursing room, which is amazing. I can, pretty much that's it. I can go to Target. I can go to like friends' houses or like my parents' house, and I feel comfortable feeding there. But like to go to the grocery store, to go to the mall, things like that, I mean, I would have to go to the car. For me, I would have to go to the car. Not saying you have to go to the car to feed your baby, but I would have to go to the car to feed my baby, and that just kind of stinks. So another con, yeah, I would say that's it. Like, there's pros and cons to breastfeeding, and I don't know. I mean, I am happy that I can do it this time, and I'm happy that it's working out, and I'm so thrilled that I do not have to pump. At this point, I will have to pump when I go back to work, just so I have a supply built up for her at daycare. But right now, I don't have to pump, and I can't tell you how amazing that is, because pumping for 8 months every 3 hours was awful. Like, so awful. And if you're doing it right now, I don't mean to like, I don't want to make you feel like you need to stop. Do it. If that's what you've chosen to do, do it. Just know that it's hard. Some things that I can tell you: have your phone on you so that you can watch TV. Try to not isolate yourself as much. Maybe get a cover so that you can at least like be around people so you don't feel as isolated all the time. Get a good pump. I have the Spectra pump and it worked fairly well. Have extra parts so you don't have to spend all your time washing things. If you want me to do a separate video on like how I exclusively pumped and like my tips and tricks, I'll do that, but we're gonna move on. So that's how breastfeeding is going for us. It's going, oh, I mean, like, she's feeding. She feeds basically every 3 hours, except for from 8 to 12, she like cluster feeds every morning from 8 to 12, which is fine because I watch my morning shows and I eat my breakfast. And so from 8 to 12, I'm basically not able to do anything because she just wants to eat. So she'll eat for like 20 minutes and then go 10 minutes, and then she'll eat another 20 minutes and then go 10 minutes. And so from 8 to 12, that's where we're at. Sleeping wise, she is doing pretty good. At night, she sleeps from 3 to 4 hours. I do not wake her up to eat, and I haven't seen any issue with that as far as my supply goes, or her health is gone. She's gained weight and she has tons of dirty diapers and wet diapers and all of that. So haven't had any issues there. She does sleep 3 to 4 hours during the night. So I get at least 2 3 to 4 hour stretches of sleep at night, which is perfect. All I really need is like 6 hours of sleep and I'm good to go. Anyway, I do not nap during the day with her. I just don't need it. So that's going fantastic. We swaddled Graylin every single time she fell asleep, and I haven't been doing that with Gusset. I only swaddle her at night. I do not swaddle her for naps and stuff. I tried to introduce a pacifier yesterday and she just like didn't want it. I introduced the Soothy pacifier and she absolutely hated that one, the one that the hospital gives you. Did not like that one. I had bought some Avent Soothy pacifiers too, and we tried that, and she took that. Every now and then she'll take it. Again, I just started that yesterday. So we did pacifiers from the very beginning with Graylin. I like the idea of it preventing SIDS during their sleeping, so like that is helpful, something that will calm them down. Also, Gresset likes to just suck instead of feed, so it relieves me from just sitting there and being a pacifier. So I introduced the pacifier yesterday, hoping that that works for her and it alleviates some of me being there. And if Colton needed to watch her or something, he has at least some kind of tool he can use for her to at least calm her down for a little bit until I can get back. So introduced the pacifier yesterday. The Avent one has worked every now and then. I'm gonna try a couple other pacifiers, but I don't wanna try tons of them and get her super confused. So in about a week or so, we're going to introduce the bottle because we will be going out of town for Christmas, and I want to be able to like go hang out with my husband or go hang out with my daughter, and for somebody to be able to watch Gresset and me not have to be there all the time. So I do want to introduce a bottle at some point. Don't know what bottle. Oh no, I'm going to introduce the Avent bottles because that's what we had for Gray. So I just bought new nipples, use the same bottles, and see if she takes to that. If she doesn't, we'll have to try a different bottle. But I figure if she took to the Avent Soothy pacifier, then she'll probably take to the Avent bottle. Maybe. We'll see. Postpartum body update. So whenever I gave birth to whenever I gave birth to Gresset, I weighed beforehand and I was 150.2 pounds. So I lost about 3 pounds, 2.5, 3 pounds in my last like week of pregnancy, which I did with Graylin too. And my mom said that she did. That's kind of how she knew that she was going into labor soon, because she would start to lose weight. So I definitely lost weight right at the end of my pregnancy. I am currently 133.4 pounds as of this morning whenever I weighed. I did show you two clips. I showed you 2 clips of like how my body was a couple hours after labor and then a couple days after labor. And then I inserted another clip of me today. So you were able to see that, kind of the progression of that. I haven't done anything, changed my diet whatsoever. I've just been eating the same stuff that I was eating pre-labor or pre-delivery. Haven't done any exercises, obviously, because I'm not cleared for it, but I am breastfeeding and I do have a 2-year-old, so that helps a little bit with like how my body is going. And I mean, genetics has a lot to do with it. So if you're discouraged over your body not bouncing right back after pregnancy, talk to your mom or your grandma and ask them like, how did your weight loss go after pregnancy? And it's probably going to be pretty similar to yours. I do not indulge in like crazy sweets or anything. I do not overeat, and I don't sit around all day. So I am fairly active as I can be, as I'm able to be after labor. I don't eat like a whole bunch of junk, and I don't overeat. So I think that plus my genetics just has a lot to do with how I've been able to just like lose a lot of weight pretty quickly. I also didn't overindulge in my pregnancy. I think that has a lot to do with it too. If you're overindulging in your pregnancy, you're gonna have extra weight that you that you're gonna have to lose afterwards. So my post-pregnancy body, I'm fine with it. It's not like something I would go strut around in a bathing suit in, but I mean, I'm comfortable with myself. I can fit in some jeans, which is a plus, and I mean, it's winter anyway, so I can just wear big clothes and it's fine. But whenever I do get cleared for like working out, I am planning on fully getting back into the gym and, you know, eating like super healthy and doing all of the gym things like I used to do pre-children. So that will be something that I film and show y'all, but that's not for a couple weeks. I'm going to enjoy my laziness and not being super active and eating without having to like count calories and all of that. So let's see, any other type of update? Oh, how my daughter is doing. So Graylin is doing fairly well. Like, I can't really complain. She doesn't like, she treats Gresset very nicely. Like, she treats her, I know that sounds funny, but like I was afraid that she would not like her, so she would be mean to her. I don't know, that was just like in my head, that's what she would do. But she treats her like a baby doll. Every time she cries, she tells me Gressie's crying, and she'll run and help me. I have her help me change her diaper. I have her pick out clothes for her. I'll constantly ask her to come sit with us and help me burp her. Like, I'm constantly making sure that she's a part of it so that she doesn't feel isolated. I also, when Gresset is asleep, put my sole attention on Graylin, and we'll sit in her room and play, we'll color. Like, I just want her to know that she hasn't been replaced and that we still are here and we still want to hang out with her. Now, she has been super clingy, like wants mom all the time, wants to sit next to mom, doesn't want anything to do with a lot of other people besides me. Constantly is asking for us to play with her, whereas before Gresset, she would just kind of play by herself. So that's new. And then she has been very defiant. So this could be that she's 2. It could be her personality, because my husband and I are both very stubborn and have been defiant children. So that could be it. Or it could be that she is a new sibling, or she has a new sibling, or it could be a mix of all of it, but she will stare at you after you've asked her to do something and not do it, or do the opposite of it. Or if you tell her to stop, she'll continue to do it while she looks at you. So that's new and super fun to deal with, especially with a 2-year-old, and trying to like bargain with them. And you know, we want to discipline her, but we don't want to over discipline her. I don't know. So we're dealing with that too. Graylin's just Graylin. She has a personality of her own. If you watch our vlogs, you've seen like how outspoken she is and how, I don't know, she's just funny, and she's defiant and stubborn, and she's just all me and my husband. Like, she is just us in mini form, and it's just funny to see. Anyway, I think she's done pretty well with it. I guess my tip for new parents that I got from other new parents was just to make them feel like they're helping and make them a part of it, and don't let them feel isolated by the new baby at all. So it's, you know, I might be feeding Gresset, but I ask Graylin to come sit next to me and I'll color with her, or we'll talk, or we'll watch a show, something where she feels like she is still, you know, important to us. Whew. Okay, I know that was a lot of information, and if you don't like these types of sit down videos, then just don't watch this one and wait for a vlog to come, or for other types of videos to come. But I just thought I'd throw a big life update out there, how postpartum life is, how family life is going, all of that. We will be going out of town for 11 days. Yes, 11 days with a newborn and a toddler, so that'll be very interesting. I will be vlogging all of it. We're going to visit my family, we're going to visit Colton's family, we're going to the mountains for a little vacation for 5 days. It's gonna be a lot, and it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we are gonna vlog it all, and I will post it all for y'all to see. But yeah, for this video at least, we're done. Gresset is sleeping in the bedroom. I mean, she's still sleeping, so I guess I'm gonna use this time to finish wrapping some Christmas presents, maybe watch a little bit of TV, maybe do a chore around the house or so. I don't know, probably not, maybe. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, so that you can keep in touch with us and see how our lives pan out over the next months, years, however long this lasts. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.